Yeah, we have adjourned from closed session and given direction to staff. Or actually, do we need to take a motion on that? Welcome everyone to the 7 p.m. meeting of the Durham County Board of Commissioners. It is Monday, September 24th, 2018. The Board of Commissioners asks its members and citizens to conduct themselves in a respectful, courteous manner, both with the board and fellow citizens. At any time, should any member of the board or any citizen fail to observe this public charge, the chair will ask the offending person to leave the meeting until that individual regains personal control. Should decorum fail to be restored, the chair will recess the meeting until such time that a genuine commitment to the public charge is observed. And as a courtesy to others, please turn off cell phones during the meeting. And I will now ask that we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Are there any agenda adjustments? Okay, seeing there are no adjustments, we'll move on to the announcements. And we have a lot of announcements, so I'm going to just summarize them, and they will all be available on the county website. This month is National Preparedness Month. Durham County Emergency Management recognizes September as National Preparedness Month and reminds all citizens that we must prepare ourselves and our families now and throughout the year. And of course, we all just got to put National Preparedness Month into action last week. And I want to commend all of our staff, all the first responders, Jim Groves, our emergency management officer and fire marshal, all of the staff with emergency management, our EMS staff, our sheriff's deputies, our law enforcement officers, public health staff, DSS staff, all of general services in the city and the county. There just were hundreds and hundreds of people that were involved in helping keep all of us safe. And we all know that we were very lucky in Durham. And we know what is happening in other parts of the state now, that the storm is still not over. So we will keep all of those people in our hearts and do what we can continue to do to help other people. But I just want to recognize all of that this is National Preparedness Month, and we certainly we have practiced. Yes, Commissioner Howerton.
Thank you. I just want to just a comment around the floods and what happened over the last week or so. The fact that we have citizens in this community that is attached to family members and friends on the eastern part of our state. And just to let you know that we are thinking about you in this community, that you have family members. And I've been in touch with some of the commissioners in the other counties in the state of North Carolina, and just want to know, you to know that we care about them and we send them our love and our support.
Thank you. Kick off Tri-Transit Week with a free Saturday on Go Durham. Whether your favorite get-out-of-the-house plans involve biking, beers, or books, add a twist to your typical trip this month and let the bus be your ride. September is Tri-Transit Month across the nation, and Go Durham wants to help residents participate by offering tips and suggested trips for all types of people, be they adventurers, intellectuals, tour guides, or foodies. Go Durham is even offering a fare-free day on Saturday to get your ride off right. So there's a lot of information on the Go Triangle website, on the godurhamtransit.org website about how to plan your trip. And we're trying to encourage people to try transit if you're not a regular transit user. There's a free app, the TransLoc app, that you can download onto your smartphone that will help you plan how you can get from place to place. So we hope that people will take advantage of this. Food shuttle to open new child food hub. The grand opening will be on September 27th, 2018. The Interfaith Food Shuttle is opening a new hub, Child Food Hub, 7,000 square foot facility that will help lead the way in fighting childhood hunger in the Greater Triangle. And there will be an opening ceremony, dedication at 10 a.m. With Dave Koch, the president, CEO of the shuttle, and Mayor Steve Schewel. And it is located at 2436 Miami Boulevard, Suite 200-9. And there will be tours following that ceremony, and that was open to the public. So that's great news for our community to have this expansion of the food shuttle here in Durham for children. Art of Cool Festival is also coming up next weekend. It's the 5th anniversary, starting on Friday, September 28th. A cool remix of Black American music that takes place in downtown Durham for a weekend festival of forward-thinking jazz, alternative soul, and mature hip-hop, and Durham is a supporter of the Art of the Cool Festival. There are lots of free events and also educational events for families. So I encourage people to go on the Art of Cool website to find out about some of the free and educational events for that festival. The winner has been selected for the I Voted sticker contest. And I know we're going to hear more about that today from members of our Board of Elections who are here with us tonight. We won't steal the thunder yet by revealing what some of us have sitting in front of us. So we will wait to discuss, hear more about the sticker contest. And one-stop early voting schedule for the November 6th general election is available online. Please go to the Durham County Board of Elections website. Advance registration for voting ends on Friday, October 12th. You can do same-day registration at any of the early voting sites. Please be sure to bring one of the following documents or acceptable photo ID, which you can find out what those are at the website, although it is not required to have a photo ID to vote. But please bring a current utility bill, a bank statement, a government check, a paycheck, or other government document with you when you register. County is seeking a response to request for proposals for our restaurant space at our Administration 2 building, which is across the street from this building. We have 2 wonderful retail restaurant spaces sitting there empty, and we would love for local businesses to apply to maybe expand from maybe a food truck or business that wants to grow. So we hope that you will apply. We have help for you to get through that process, and more can be found by contacting the Durham County Purchasing Division, also the Institute for Minority and Women, the Institute, which is, you can find the information at www.theinstitutenc.org, but we really want to help folks, and we want people to apply. Durham Big Sweep is happening in September and October as part of Keep Durham Beautiful. There are lots of events going on for you and to get involved in, your family, your neighborhood. So we hope you will go to the website and find out more about that. Here Comes the Bus, a bus tracking app. Durham Public Schools is the first district in North Carolina to offer parents the option to track their child's bus in real time. And all you need is an account with the Here Comes the Bus application online, and you can track the bus on your computer, your smartphone, or your tablet. I'm sure this is also true for students. There are many students who probably can do the same, maybe even better than their parents. But you can also get text messages or emails associated with this. So this is wonderful. And there's more information at herecomesthebus.com. Find out how to do this. The 2018-19 Durham County Open Space Matching Grant Cycle is open right now, and this is a great opportunity for schools, neighborhoods, churches to apply for matching grants for their projects. There's a 50-50 match, and it can also be done with in-kind volunteer work, not just with cash matching grants. So please go to the Durham County website or the Durham County Open Space Division Facebook page to find out more. The application deadline is November 14th. Alert Durham. Hopefully everybody has now signed up for Alert Durham after our experience with Hurricane Florence. But if you have not, please go to the www.alertdurham.com website. You can sign up to get messages on your phone, at home, on your smartphone, computer, again, whatever you like. You just put in your name and address, and it will keep you connected during events like Hurricane Florence. You can also get information by going to the website during storms like we just had. Get involved. Durham County government has 43 boards and commissions where we rely on you, our residents, to be involved and help us do the work of Durham County government. So please get involved. And again, all of these announcements and a lot more detail are on our website or by calling the clerk's office, 919-560-0025. Additional announcements from any commissioners? Thank you. We have minutes from our August 27th, 2018 meeting.
Move approval.
Moved by Commissioner Carter, seconded by Commissioner Hill. All those in
One, there is one minor correction on page 7 that I failed to alert. It's just changing the word approve to approve. Motion on. So if that will be accepted.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Carter as amended, seconded by Commissioner Hill. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And the minutes are unanimously approved. I would like to make a comment about the minutes for the record. Related to our Planning Commission appointments at that meeting, I made a mistake. On the ballot, we were supposed to vote for 3 people. I only voted for 1 person, and I just wanted to state for the record, because the 2 people that I forgot to vote for were our standing members of that board, Mr. Van and Mr. Kencher, and I would absolutely supported reappointing them. They're doing excellent work on the Planning Commission. It was just my oversight that I forgot to vote for 3 people. And so I just want to state that for the record, that I apologize for that. And I guess it's a reminder that we need help from our attorney and our clerk to make sure that that we don't overlook writing, that we don't mess up on our ballots. So thank you. We have several ceremonial items tonight, and the first one is a proclamation for Minority Enterprise Development Week. And let's see, Susan, will you be, is Susan here? Do we have anyone here? Oh, okay. So you will be Jacqueline Boyce and Keisha Davis. Yes, we have some staff here with us, and I'm going to read the proclamation, then we'd love to have you just tell us more about what's planned for the week. Thank you. Durham Board of County Commissioners proclamation for Minority Enterprise Development Week 2018. Whereas it is the policy of the County of Durham that purchasing by the county and contracts with the county be open to all people and be free of discrimination on the basis of race and gender. And whereas the Durham County Minority and Women Enterprise Ordinance, Section 8-132, provides minorities and women equal opportunity to participate in all aspects of the county's contracting program, including but not limited to employment, construction projects, and/or materials and service contracts consistent with law. And whereas General Statute 143-128 provides for good faith efforts to be made in an effort to ensure fair participation of minority and women business owners in all county projects. And whereas it is further the policy of the county to conduct its contracting program so as to prevent such discrimination, correct present discrimination, and to resolve claims of such discrimination. And whereas the County of Durham is a sponsor of the Minority Enterprise Development Week, now therefore be it resolved, I, Wendy Jacobs, Chair of the Durham Board of County Commissioners, and on behalf of the Durham Board of County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim October 1st through 5th, 2018 as Minority Enterprise Development Week in Durham County, this 24th day of September 2018. Wendy Jacobs, Chair, Durham County Board of Commissioners.
Thank you. I am Keisha Davis, MWBE Coordinator for the county, and I'm here along with Procurement Manager Jacqueline Boyce and Assistant Procurement Managers Angela Perry and Rick Green. And
You want to wave your hands?
And on behalf of the MWBE program, I'm happy and pleased to announce an overview of the week's events and also to provide an open invitation for all that would like to attend. Monday, October 1st from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., there is a speed business networking event. It is free, but registration is required. It's likened to speed dating. It's a very structured networking event. Tuesday, October 2nd, there is a Midweek Honors Luncheon. The luncheon will be from 11:30 to 1:30. Keynote speaker for the event will be Dr. Henry McCoy Jr. He is the faculty member and director of entrepreneurship at the School of Business at North Carolina Central University. On Wednesday, there's a minority business fair that also is free. Registration is requested, not required. That event is hosted by the Greater Durham Black Chamber of Commerce. On Thursday, there's something new this year, which is a webinar. This is an event that you can do on your own. It runs approximately 30 minutes, and it is offered by the U.S. Small Business Administration. And on Friday, we have this year bowling. For previous years, it's been a golf event, so this is something that we're excited about, and we really hope that we get some good participation. So even if you're not a bowler, you may want to come out and just network at the bowling alley. So we're definitely looking forward to that. So that's an overview of the week's events. If you would like more detailed information, you can go to Eventbrite and enter Durham Midweek 2018, and there is more comprehensive information and also the opportunity to register. So I thank you all for your time, and I will be leaving additional brochures in the lobby for anyone that is interested in picking up one. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Keisha. And I love the name of the bowling event is Strike a Deal. And I just want to note that the, let's see, I just lost it. The Monday event, the speed networking, the business fair, and the webinar, those are all free events, right?
Correct.
So those, just so people know, those are all free. So thank you so much. And I don't know if
They want to particularly highlight the business fair. That's on Wednesday, and 5 to 8, so it's after work, and it's going to be at the Durham Armory. So Wednesday, October 3rd, at the Durham Armory from 5 to 8.
Right.
Networking, a business fair and opportunity for people to showcase what they do and also learn what other people do.
Right. So, well, thank you so much. Any other comments from other commissioners? We appreciate all that you do, our purchasing staff sitting there and Keisha, and we're really proud. I mean, this is a great week, and we're also very proud of the work that you all do to help promote MWBE opportunities in our community, and so thank you for your work.
You're welcome.
And we'd like you to come and receive the proclamation. Okay, we have also a proclamation for Community Planning Month, and I know we have a number of staff here from the Planning Department. We have our Planning Director, Patrick Young, here with us, and I will have Commissioner Reckow share that proclamation, and then we'll hear comments from you.
Thank you. Durham Board of County Commissioners Proclamation, Community Planning Month 2018. Whereas change is constant and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, counties, urban and rural areas, and whereas community planning and plans can help manage this change in a way that provides better choices for how people work and live, and whereas a key component of community planning is the involvement of all of Durham's citizens in making choices that determine the future quality of life in Durham, and whereas the full benefits of planning require public officials and citizens who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation, and whereas the month of October is designated as National Community Planning Month throughout the United States of America and its territories. And whereas the American Planning Association and its professional institute, the American Institute of Certified Planners, endorse National Community Planning Month as an opportunity to highlight the contributions planning makes to the quality of our community and environment. And whereas the celebration of National Community Planning Month gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of the members of Durham's appointed and elected boards and commissions who have contributed their time and expertise to the improvement of the city and county of Durham, North Carolina. And whereas the Durham City County Planning Department was created 30 years ago on July 1st, 1988, and we recognize the many valuable contributions made by professional planners of the Durham City County Planning Department and extend our heartfelt thanks for the continued commitment to public service by these professionals. Now therefore be it resolved, I, Wendy Jacobs, Chair of the Durham Board of County Commissioners, and on behalf of the Durham Board of County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2018 as Community Planning Month in Durham County in conjunction with the celebration of National Community Planning Month, and hereby urge citizens to take note of this observance. This, the 24th day of September 2018, Wendy Jacobs, Chair, Board of County Commissioners.
Thank you. So, Patrick, if you'd like to just share with us a little bit about why this is important.
Just a few comments. First of all, thank you very much, Commissioner Reckow and Chair Jacobs and members of the Commission, on behalf of the over 60 resident planners that you heard Commissioner Reckow allude to that are sit on one of 6 advisory boards and commissions that we help support and staff and that advise you all on planning matters. And from our professional staff, we have several of which here tonight. Thanks so much for the honor of this resolution. As you heard from Commissioner Reckow, 2018 is the 30th anniversary of the merger of the city and county planning departments. We are one of only 2 fully merged city and county planning departments in the state of North Carolina. It is a tremendous benefit to have the coordination and cooperation between municipal and county government. It's something, rather than competition, that exists in many of our cities and counties, and it's something that pays dividends for our community every day. So in celebration of our 30th anniversary, we'll be conducting 30 community planning events over the next year. Kind of 30 for 30 for those of you sports fans out there on ESPN. I'll give you a couple of examples of those. The first is something we've done several years that has been great, which is have a mock planning commission with high school students. We have civics and social science students from several area high schools that come in. We have conversations about planning. We give some background information, and then we have a mock planning commission at the end. It's a great event. We're also going to have an open house event, which we've had each of the last several years. We're going to have a lecture series that's going to start with Dr. Andrew Whittemore, who's a UNC Chapel Hill planning professor who's written very articulately about racial bias in land use and what we can do about it. And most importantly, I think we're going to try to meet people where they are. A big part of our strategy as a department is to engage residents where they're already meeting. And so we have over a dozen events planned with homeowner associations, community groups, tenants groups, and other interested groups, and more being planned. So we'll have that entire schedule published before the end of Community Planning Month, hopefully within the next 2 or 3 weeks. We'll work with our public affairs staff, widely disseminated. And these efforts all dovetail with the kickoff of our new comprehensive plan beginning this fall, which will set the vision for the next wave of growth in Durham, and with completion scheduled for 2021. So thanks again for your support of community planning, and we're very honored to serve you in the city, and thanks again.
Thank you, Patrick. And hard to believe, 30 years. I mean, that's probably when you first became an elected official.
Well, I was elected that year, and I wasn't here to actually vote on the merger, but I was involved in the implementation because I came on the board right after it was approved. And I want to say that the merger of the planning department and the inspections department, which also occurred right around the same time, have really improved the level of service related to land use and development in our community. And so I think very solid decisions were made, and we've had excellent performance by both of these departments. Our inspections situation actually was not very good before merger, to be perfectly honest. There were issues. And after merger, I don't know, we almost forget about the department because everything goes smoothly. And the same thing with planning, very professional, very solid decisions that have served us in good stead for 3 decades.
Any other comments from commissioners? Well, I just want to say, Patrick, it sounds like you've got some great events planned that sound really exciting. I want to acknowledge some of the planning staff sitting back here. There are some really exciting things that the planning department is working on now, expanding the whole effort to explore expanding housing choice in Durham is really innovative. And so we really appreciate all the work that you're doing and all of your efforts. And we're glad to be able to celebrate the 30th anniversary. And if you don't mind coming up here and receiving the proclamation. And we have a final proclamation this evening for Domestic and Care Workers Day of Recognition. I see we have a number of citizens here with us today, and we have Chanel Croxton, who is the North Carolina lead organizer for the National Domestic Workers Alliance. And Chanel, I don't know who else you might want to bring up with you. So we welcome anyone who is here to receive the proclamation and bring comments to join us. Maybe it's easier for you all to go here. And Commissioner Hill is going to share the proclamation, and then we'll.
Durham Board of County Commissioners Proclamation. Durham Domestic Workers Day of Recognition 2018. Whereas domestic and care workers are the child care, direct care providers, and house cleaners who do the important work of making our homes safe environments and offer much needed care for ourselves and our loved ones. And whereas domestic and care workers are the backbone of our economy and make it possible for others to work. And whereas there is an increasing need to fill essential roles of caring for the projected 1 in 5 elderly individuals who will need in-home services in the future, and hundreds of thousands of children needing care. And whereas domestic and care workers provide physical, medical, emotional, and spiritual support for the individuals they work with. And whereas historically these roles have been performed by women, African Americans, undocumented individuals, and other vulnerable populations who have been devalued. And whereas there are 3 million domestic and care workers nationwide whose contributions go unnoticed, who don't receive fair wages or benefits, whose labor in unsafe conditions are not covered by comprehensive labor protections. And whereas unpaid family caregivers who provide assistance to 70% of aging adults and provide 72% of home-based child care are not recognized for the invaluable service they provide. And whereas there is a history of domestic and care workers creating and leading social justice movements, and domestic and care workers in the South, like Dorothy Bolden, have organized and demanded dignity and recognition and have pushed for policy and social change to honor this vital workforce. And now Therefore, be it resolved, I, Wendy Jacobs, Chair of the Durham Board of County Commissioners, and on behalf of the Durham Board of County Commissioners, do hereby recognize Durham Domestic Workers' Day of Recognition in Durham County, this the 24th day of September, 2018. Wendy Jacobs, Chair, Durham Board of County Commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have, no, it's not Chanel, so please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. I'm a leader of NDWA and We Dream in Black.
Hi, I'm Priscilla Smith. I'm also a leader of NDWA and We Dream in Black.
Yes. And on behalf of NDWA and We Dream in Black, we would like to thank the county. Thank you for this proclamation. October 13th is Dorothy Bowden's birthday, and Dorothy Bowden is a national domestic union worker who, who just paved the way for our organization for care workers and domestic workers in the field. She started in the 60s as a child care provider and also as a laundress, and she has paved the way and fought for higher wages, better benefits in those in domestic care work, and we would like to thank you for that.
Hi, thank y'all again for accepting our proclamation. As my teammate said, Ms. Dorothy Bowman has paved the way for many of us as care workers to be able to still be care workers for today. Our work is normally unseen and unheard. Most people think of our work as either just to help or none important, which is neither. Our work is the work that allows other people to go to work. That's the importance of being a domestic worker. We are very much underpaid. I work as a certified nursing assistant here in Durham, North Carolina. I work in home care and I work in facility. Neither one of them fields will ever get paid what they're worth because it takes your heart and it takes your energy and your whole body to take care of someone else's loved one when you're leaving your loved ones at home for someone else to take care of. And we would like to thank the Institution of Policy Studies for these studies for us to bring light to the importance of our work that most people do not take seriously. And the reasons why is because throughout the many days of slavery, Black women held these jobs. And back then, women did not have rights. So we're fighting again for equal rights for women, all women, but mostly Black women, because through this policy, we've learned that Black women get paid 63 cents less to any man, any Caucasian man, any Caucasian woman, and a Black man with the same education and the same experience, which is not fair because, believe it or not, we as Black women are the women who supports the whole world. And we support the whole world in every industry of work. So we came upon each other proudly to have this day of recognition for domestic workers because we're proud of the work that we do. We love it and we enjoy it every day, and we wouldn't trade it for anything else. We're having a day of recognition on October the 4th at the Living's Art Collection at 410 West Gear Street here in Durham, North Carolina. It starts at 6:30. It is definitely open to the public. We invite each and every one of y'all to come out and learn more about the National Domestic Workers in our We Dream in Black chapter here in Durham. The events that will be happening there, other than bringing more awareness to our chapter, is photo exhibits of other members like myself, dinner and a live band called Zoo Crew. And we just want to again thank y'all for accepting our proclamation and bringing this day of awareness for domestic workers to the forefront, which is very important to us.
Well, thank you, all of you, for being here and for bringing us this proclamation. And I want to give commissioners any chance to, Commissioner Howerton and Commissioner Hill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to say thank you for bringing this to us. And I was reading some information a while ago, and it says the aging population and it's ever increasing.
Yes.
And the busyness of women is growing in our society, where it's estimated 2.8 million jobs will be created by 2035. That's a lot of jobs. And that people that are in the role that you hold will need to cover. So I thank you, and I think this is something that needs attention. It needs attention as far as how you get paid and how you are cared for. Because it's mighty difficult for you to care for our loved ones when you're not being cared for yourself. So I thank you for bringing this to us, and I was with you at Wendy's, and I look forward to being with you again, and thanks for the invitation.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Commissioner Hill?
Sure. I want to thank you for your organization and what you do. It's imperative that workers organize so we can make sure that our workers are protected, that they receive a fair wage, that they receive the benefits that they need for their families, and that they can protect themselves, especially in your field, working in people's homes, from sexual harassment and sexual abuse. So it's so very important. So thank you for the organizational work that you do, and God bless you. I know what you do is vital for us, our society, and our economy. So again, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Other comments? Well, I just want to add, I know you first brought us this proclamation last year, and so it's an honor to be participating again this year. It is so important to take the time to recognize the work that you all do and all of the caregivers who do in our community and in our society. As you all said, these are the most important jobs, the hardest jobs, and jobs that are often go unrecognized and really unrewarded in terms of the monetary compensation and the benefits. So it's an honor for us to be able to hold you all up and thank you for what you do for all of us every day. So thank you again, and of course we want to do whatever we can to support all of you. So thank you. If you'll please come forward and receive the proclamation. Thank you. Okay, next is our consent agenda, and we have items 18-0995 through 18-1049. I do want to ask that, just so that we can help to inform the public, Kim, is after if we could just have you quickly come up and talk about the schedules, the evaluation schedules, so just so that people can learn about what's happening. But so I just want to, yes.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I just noticed that on item 0995, I'm going to ask that it be pulled. Now I'll bring it to your work session. That really should not be on for discussion. That's a simple matter where there's one of your boards that has an attendance requirement greater than your 50%. Theirs is actually 75. I want to change the wording of that agenda action form so I can bring it back
Okay.
to you at the work session, and hopefully we can put it on for the next
Okay. Okay, any other items to be pulled? Okay, so we're going to amend that, items 18-1036 through 18-1049.
Move approval?
Moved by Commissioner Recca, seconded by Commissioner Howerton. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And the consent items are unanimously approved. And Kim Simpson, I would just ask if you could just come up and take this opportunity to talk about the 2019 reappraisal schedule of values and their submission, and just what we can help inform the public about the process that we're undertaking.
Good evening, Board. The statutes are pretty clear as to the tax assessor must deliver a schedule of values to the Board to consider. We'll have a public hearing. Actually, tomorrow we'll begin the advertisement process. So once we deliver the schedule of values to the Board, the public will have an opportunity for a public hearing, which is October 22nd, I believe. And then you will adopt those schedule of values in November. Once you adopt the schedule of values, then the public also has an opportunity to appeal those to the Property Tax Commission. The schedule of values is believe it or not, this thing used to be about, Ms. Raquel may remember, about 20 volumes. Thank God for technology today, because I remember in 2001 pushing in a big cart of all these binders for the schedule of values. And over time, we've now condensed that down to one binder. So we have released the schedule of values online. Thank God for our public opportunity to see those schedule of values online, where in the past they had not been. So 16 was our first time, and then 19. So the schedule of values is basically the rules in which we follow of how we have determined the value of properties. The schedule is developed, and the schedule was developed by a series of individuals. There are several contractors that were involved in, as well as some of my staff, and then we have used some other vendor assistance for some of the information that we use for income. So I would like to acknowledge that Tanner Valuation Group, Vincent Valuation LLC, CoreLogic, and then a company, I'm losing the name of that company in the front here. So basically, they provided us information for income. Durham is a very unique jurisdiction where almost 40% of our tax base is made up of commercial properties. And that is where we are definitely in a great opportunity as a jurisdiction, and some of my peers are somewhat jealous of our ratio of residential versus commercial. That means our residential folks do not carry the entire burden of our tax base. 40% is carried by commercial properties. The schedule of values is 31 sections, and it basically tells the public how we have valued different types of properties in Durham County. So the schedule of values process is first, and then once the board adopts the schedule of values and they are not basically appealed to the state, then in January we will begin to value all the properties using our system. So there is basically 116,000 parcels in Durham County. So we continue to grow in parcel size. People are already asking me what's the increase in our property values. I cannot tell you that yet because I have not pushed the button to begin to value all the properties. This is the first step. We plan to send notices out January the 30th, and then the board will appoint a 2019 Board of Equalization and Review, and they will come in session the beginning of April, and we'll have about a 30-day window of time for appeals. What's really important for me to stress to the public is the information that is on our website is the information based on our visitation to properties. You, as the public, are what I call the auditors of our data. We don't go inside your homes unless you invite us in, so a lot of the work that we do is from the outside of the property, and therefore we encourage you to begin to look at your data and look to see if we have anything that may be incorrect. That information is on the county's website at www.dconc.gov. You'll just click on tax administration and then the real property search. That is a huge component of this, is making sure that the data is correct. Once those notices go out, I expect our phones will begin to ring. Durham is changing a lot. There is a change where you notice that I'm sending the notices out in January versus in December. The market is very hot in Durham, and so daily we see changes occurring based on sales that we study. And as a result, that value is supposed to be effective January the 1st of 2019. And so therefore, I feel like I need to wait and capture that first 3 weeks in January and then send the notices out. So that as soon as I push the button in January, then it allows us to see a lot of information of what has occurred for our tax base increase, and so that we can look at adopting a budget for 1920. The tax bills that will be impacted by the 2019 general reappraisal will come out in the month of August of 2019. So some folks think that this is they will be able to take their value and know what their tax bill is immediate. That is not the case. We have to wait for the budget process to take place.
Well, thank you so much, Kim, for all of that explanation, that information. I know you'll be helping to lead us through it, and I just wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to educate the public and the community about the process. It is a very complicated, time-consuming process. We really appreciate all of your staff's work and your work, and I want to also take this moment to recognize you as our tax collector and administrator for we have, I think, have had the highest collection rate in the history of Durham, thanks to you. And if you would please remind us all sitting here what that rate is. And I know in terms of the cities in North Carolina and the counties in North Carolina, we were like in the top 2 and then the top 3, and can you just give us that?
Well, you know, I always say this every year. I always feel like I want to beat Buncombe and Wake County and never can. And I've decided that they cheat. And I actually did confirm some of that this year, that there is a difference in how we look at it. And we're a very competitive group of people, believe it or not. We're always calling saying, where are you at? Where are you at? Where are you at? And we're always saying, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat you. So based on how the finance world, sometimes finance directors have a methodology in that calculation. Our calculation ended with a 99.82% collection rate. That is, if you look in the order, I would have been 3rd highest in the state. If we all did apples to apples, I might have been the first one in the state. So that's what I always tell them. If you did it the way I did it, then we would all be the same. And in fact, me and Wake are extremely competitive with one another. And I calculated my rate the same way he did, and I was like 0.1% less. I mean, it was so close. It was just made me sick. So I wanted to beat him so bad, and I just didn't. So yes, we do have a good collection rate. I would like to thank the board for your support. The reappraisal process is one of the most expensive and time-consuming methods that the tax office must do. And that we will be on a 4-year cycle after 2019. So every 4 years after that. So that is how the reappraisal process will work.
So Kim, 99.82%. That's just astounding. So,
Awfully
Yeah.
close to 100, which is amazing.
Well, it's
I
very hard to
remember
get
when we
100.
were way lower, and that was way before your tenure, but it's not fun being down at 95. 95 may sound good, 95 is an A, but 95 leaves millions and millions of dollars unaccounted for. It's not a good thing.
It does, and I think I have to say, this is not achieved by me. This is achieved by the folks that work for me. They are wonderful, dedicated individuals, and so I will make sure, Ms. Jacobs, you sent an email to me, and I passed that along to staff, and they were very happy to see that they were recognized for their work, so.
yeah, and I just wanted to explain to just our audience and people listening to understand. So 1 cent, on the dollar, we can just say, oh, it's worth about $3.7 million. So when we don't collect, let's say 1 cent worth of money, just for example, 1%, that's $3.7 million. That's money that we don't have to spend in this community. That's how we fund so much of what we do, is through collection of our property taxes. So when we don't have these types of collection rates, we don't have the money in our budget to fund all the services and programs, to fund our schools. So that's why it's important that we have such a great tax department and such a great collector and administrator all in one person. And also, I think another point that you made, Kim, is so important, that we have such a diverse tax base in Durham, being 40% commercial. We have neighboring communities that don't have that, and so they have to put so much emphasis on their property tax rate, and that means they end up having higher property taxes. So we're lucky we can get revenues from other places to help support us.
I would like to say that I owe an appreciation to the public, the citizens, because they understand through education, through my office, the importance of paying. And that's why you have a 99.82% collection rate as well, is they want the services that we provide. And so they not always willing to pay. Somehow we convince them that we need to do that. But I would like to thank the citizens, because they play a huge role in that 99.82% collection rate, believe me.
Thank you. Commissioner Recco.
I just want to emphasize two things. One is we have a wonderful tax department staff, as has been said, and one of the things they do that is great is they work with individual citizens and families to develop a payment plan that works for that household. And that is very important. They will work with you. And so I encourage citizens who look at the bill and say, I don't think I can pay that, to take the time to approach our staff and figure out a path forward, because they will work with you. And the second thing I want to say, this is very important for all of our residents to remember, is when they get the reassessment in January, and if it has gone up, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will pay higher taxes, because what we do is the state law requires us to then start with what's called the revenue neutral rate. And so if the tax base as a whole has gone up, we calibrate that rate down. Now, as the tax administrator said, it won't be finalized until we've adopted a budget, and we may decide there are important initiatives, whether it's the school district or other things that need to get funded. But I'm just saying that when you see your assessment, it doesn't necessarily mean because your house was valued 15% more that you will see a 15% increase in tax.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I think it's all been said. We really appreciate all the work that you and your staff do. you know, not since I've been on the board has the rate been where it is right now. So thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a number of guests here tonight. We have our entire Board of Elections here with us. So thank you so much for being here. And Derek Bowens, our Director of the Board of Elections. We have the Chair of the Board of Elections, Luke Farley, the Vice Chair, Philip Lehman, and we have members Michael Gray and Pamela Oxendine. So thank you all so much for being here. And we can wave so we see you all here, so everybody knows who you are. Thank you all for serving our community as member of the Board of Elections. And Derek, I'll let you tell us about why everyone's here.
Thanks, Madam Chair, Commissioners. As you know, the Durham County Board of Elections implemented an I Voted sticker contest. And I actually want to call up the chairman of our board to talk about that in more detail, talk about the finalists, and also announce the winner.
Thank you, Mr. Director, and thank you, Commissioners. I appreciate you putting us on the agenda tonight. I know y'all are busy, and we appreciate the continued support for the work of the Board of Elections in Durham County. I'm joined by the entire board tonight to present the award for the very first I Voted sticker contest in Durham County. As elected officials, I'm sure you're familiar with I Voted stickers. They are ubiquitous at election time, but sadly, they're usually kind of bland and generic. And the purpose of this contest was to redesign the sticker, something unique to Durham County, because Durham is a unique place, and we deserve a unique sticker. The idea for this contest was a collaboration between our board staff and Laura Biediger of the City of Durham Neighborhood Services Program. And I really would like to commend our staff, Derek, our director, for putting this thing together for us. You know, when the director approached me and mentioned an I Voted sticker contest, I really had no idea whether anybody would be interested in something like this. But I can tell you the response from the public, tremendous. Just a couple of statistics here. We had 30 unique designs from 22 individuals, and we took those designs and put them in an online poll and asked the public to pick their favorite. And we got a total of 4,135 votes in this online poll, which I think must approach the vote total for some small races in Durham County. And that number was a shock to me. One of the other things about the poll was we used it as an opportunity to ask people if they'd be interested in serving as poll workers. One of the great challenges for the board is to track down poll workers. But our director had the foresight to include in that poll a question about whether you'd like to be a poll worker in the future. And if you can believe it, we got 577 positive responses. So you can be sure we're going to follow up with those folks, and hopefully they will agree to serve as poll workers in a future election. And then finally, this was actually picked up by a couple of local news agencies. So we were very pleased that the good things that are going on in Durham County got disseminated around the triangle. But all in all, we were very pleased with this contest. It was a great outreach tool for us. It reached more people, I think, than maybe we even thought it would. So we're very pleased with that. And now I will show y'all the entrance here. Our three finalists. After the public had an opportunity to vote, the three top vote getters were presented to the board. The three top vote getters, three top entries were from Joshua Klein, Millie McClernand, and Desmond Ford. This was option number 1 from Mr. Klein. This was option number 2 from Millie McClernand. I will tell y'all that she was the youngest finalist. And she actually came to our last meeting.
How old is she?
I think she's 9. I hate to ruin the surprise, sadly. did not come away victorious. And this was the final entry from Mr. Desmond Ford. But the winner was Mr. Klein. Our
Now we can
board
put on our button.
coalesced around this option pretty quickly. We adopted it and chose it by acclamation. The things we liked about this design were that it was simple, it had a clear message, and it had a Durham-centered theme. And I think, at least for me, that was the most important aspect of it. It was an opportunity to use the stickers to increase local civic pride, and this was the unanimous choice of the board. I'll tell you a little bit about Mr. Klein. He is a Durham native. He attended Durham Academy, and unfortunately, he's not here tonight because he's up at Georgetown doing us proud up there. So we were very pleased with this design, and I'd now like to make the award to his mother, Ms. Lori Klein, who's here on his behalf because he's, again, up at Georgetown. Ms. Klein, if you'll come forward, we'll present the award, and I'll invite my board colleagues to come on up. We have a lovely plaque. And we also have a couple of other prizes that were sponsored by other parts of the community. The YMCA of the Triangle, the Scrap Exchange, and National Museum of Art at Duke all contributed prizes. I think we are scheduled to take a picture. That's it? Okay.
Well, thank you all so much, and congratulations, Mom. And this was just such a great idea, Derek and all of your staff and the Board of Elections. Really, just really great idea, and wonderful to just get people excited about voting, the upcoming election, and get the community involved. There were so many great choices, so, but Joshua was the winner, so we're sorry he can't be with us. Please tell him we say thank you and congratulations. And other commissioners, any comments from anyone?
Just congratulations, and I just want to say congratulations to Pam for joining you guys.
Thank you, Commissioners. This is going to be a regular contest. I think we'll probably do it every 4 years, possibly every 2. The next one will be around 2020. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very good. Congratulations to you and Joshua.
It's good size. Okay, we have a public hearing on the Unified Development Ordinance Text Amendment, FEMA firm updates, TC 180000003. And we we have Michael Stock already up there. I just looked up and there you were.
I do.
From the planning department. Who is here to tell us about this public hearing.
Thank you. Michael Stock with the Planning Department. Before I begin, I'd like to note that all required notification for this public hearing item has been performed as on file for review. Text Amendment TC 1800003 is a technical update to adopt revised flood insurance rate map or FIRM panels issued by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, by October 19, 2018, as required by FEMA and state law. And that's in order to maintain Durham's participation in National Flood Insurance Program, or the NFIP. The NFIP requires local communities, as a condition of future federal financial assistance and federally backed property flood insurance, to participate in the flood insurance program and to adopt the floodplain ordinances consistent with federal standards to reduce or avoid future flood losses. FEMA implements the NFIP, and North Carolina Division of Emergency Management serves as a state coordinator. Once FEMA approves a floodplain map for the NFIP, each local government affected by the floodplain must incorporate the revised map into its floodplain ordinance. No new floodplain insurance coverage can be provided until that occurs. This proposed text amendment would adopt the firm updates containing Durham County, which are revised effective again October 19, 2018, as required. Some firm panels are not being updated at this time, primarily those at the border with Granville and Wake counties. And in your packet, I've provided you with the index that shows all the panels and the dates, and you'll see that there's some dates that are not reflecting an October 19th date. Those have not been changed this time. Those are anticipated to be updated, and there will be subsequent text amendments associated with those updates. The Joint City-County Planning Committee reviewed the text amendment and had no concerns. The Planning Commission recommended approval 12-0 on July 10th, and the City Council has just recently approved the amendment at its September 4th meeting. As a reminder, the Board of Commissioners will be required to take two actions. The first would be an action on the appropriate statement of consistency found in Attachment A. The second would be the action on the ordinance amendment itself, Attachment B. Thank you. Be happy to answer questions. Ryan Eves with County Engineering Department is also here to answer questions.
Thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Recco.
So thank you for bringing this forward, and obviously this is very timely given what our state is going through with the flooding. I wanted to ask you, in terms of the two major categories, there's now what's called special flood hazard area and future conditions flood hazard area. Now, I remember way back, it used to be called floodplain and floodplain fringe. Is there a relationship between what we used to call floodplain and special flood hazard area, and then the fringe being this future conditions? Could you?
I will do my best to do that, and if I mess up, maybe Ryan can jump in. But the special hazard floodplain areas is actually the 100-year floodplain, and that's made up of the floodway and the floodway fringe. So those are the two components, general components of the traditional 100-year floodplain. There's the extra category that's usually a little bit beyond the floodway fringe, which is the future conditions. Not every municipality, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, not every municipality or jurisdiction regulates that as part of their floodplain ordinance. Durham has for at least as long as I've worked here, and that's since 2003. So it's not a new component. It's
Okay.
been a constant component. So it's an additional regulation.
And I was struck on the second page of your report because over the years, what I've seen is it appears as though more acreage has been moving into what's now called special flood hazard area, in the sense that it just grows because as the impervious surface increases, water needs a place to flow, and so this area down nearer the streams tends to grow. I was struck, though, on page 2 of the report that the number of buildings added to special flood hazard areas was 146, and the number of buildings removed was 271, which I guess is a very good sign. But could you talk a little bit about that?
I think the only thing I can say about that is that it's a little bit different than actual overall acreage, because you do have to remember that there's a vast amount of acreage that just doesn't have buildings in it for whatever reason. So you're correct. There has been an overall increase, and that number was reflected in that floodplain map. That's also an attachment there. So it was a couple hundred acres increase overall.
I know, I saw that.
So I can't speak any more to those. That's data I pulled from, that I got from our city stormwaters division. I can't speak to the specificities towards
Right,
those numbers.
but if buildings are added, as I understand, they have to meet requirements and usually be up on pilings, so that around.
Well, that would be for newer construction. They would have to meet new requirements.
requirements.
They would have to meet the requirements under the floodplain ordinance to
Right.
do construction, either additions or new structures altogether would have to meet those requirements under the floodplain ordinance.
Right. And then in the back of the packet, there is a map. It's called Attachment E, Durham Floodplain Map. And it does show the old 2006 flood, special flood hazard area, the 2018 special flood hazard area, and then the red shows the areas that have been added, and there is an increase in the acreage in flood hazard. It's a little over 300 acre.
Correct.
What I didn't see on this map and wanted to ask you about was the other category, that future. That's not mapped for the.
It isn't mapped there, no.
And why don't you?
It was just something that was overlooked. We were just focusing on the future conditions is generally a minute portion, but probably even wouldn't have shown up that clearly on.
It wouldn't have shown up. Okay, I just think it might be a good thing to also
Perfectly
put
understand.
in the future. I think we just need to emphasize to our citizens, unfortunately, that while they're not in floodplain now, if you're nearby, there is always that danger. And so I think by showing that special hazard area, it helps apprise citizens that this floodplain area could grow.
When we come forward with any future amendments, we'll make sure that we'll show that.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Howerton.
Just a quick question. Does renters know, are they notified that they are renting in a floodplain area?
I am not aware that they are. I know that property owners get notification after
They would
the
not-
effective date. Any properties that are added in will be notified by FEMA, but it's a focus on the property owners.
So in other words, they would know until they were involved in it.
Possibly.
We'll talk about that later. Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions before I open the public hearing? So I think what Commissioner Howerton is alluding to is important. I think that just thinking about emergency management and how we're using the floodplain data to also develop our strategies for evacuation and being aware of what are the neighborhoods that we need to, whether they're owned or rented, that those are the neighborhoods that need to be the priority for any evacuation. So, or how we notify people who are living in flood zones, whether when they sign up for Alert Durham, can we use that? Because I know that in other, I know Wake County, I read that they were alerting people that who lived in flood areas. So I think we could talk about this more later. I think it's a good.
Maybe we can have that conversation at JCCPC.
Yeah, later.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess my question, just following up on what Commissioner Howerton was raising, so this is, of course, this is 100-year floodplain. We saw the flooding with Florence as supposedly 1,000-year floods. So that's another discussion about what does that mean if we're relying on these 100-year floodplain maps and then we're getting 500-year floods or 1,000-year floods. Do we need other types of maps? Yeah, so those would be some other additional conversations, I think, how we prepare ourselves in the future. I will now open the public hearing. Is there anyone signed up to speak on this item? Seeing there's no one here to speak on the item, I will close subject. Yes,
I
Commissioner.
could say one thing about that 100-year
Yes.
flood. I always wondered what that really meant. All it really means is that there's a 1% chance
Right.
that, and people don't really think about that. And I think we
Right.
need to change the language
Yeah.
because people hear 100-year and they're like, oh, never
It's
happened.
only going to happen once every 100 years.
Right, sure. It just means that there's 1% chance
Yeah.
of it happening every year.
Right.
So with those odds, eventually you're
Yeah.
going to be flooded.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it would, lots of opportunity. I think we should have some follow-up discussions about this.
And unfortunately, we're seeing that we're having much more frequent flooding instances and much more severe storms. So I think that you're right, we need to talk about it, but the education probably needs to be beyond the fact that right now it appears as though the severity of storms increased and that flooding might occur more frequently.
Mm-hmm. Right, which leads us to our role in Durham County, which is coming up with some type of a resiliency plan for the county of how we move forward with that. So we had I think, okay, wait, I closed the public hearing, right?
Right.
Just to remember, and now we have two motions before us to adopt.
But I do want to say one other thing. I'm proud of the fact, we actually didn't experience as much flooding and didn't have major commercial areas, shopping centers and whatever that were impacted like some of our neighbors. And I think that's due to some degree to the fact that we have been pretty diligent with our regulations and not allowing development in floodplain sensitive areas. So I think the good news is through the good work of our planning department, we have helped to protect property.
We have two motions before us.
I'll make the first one. The first motion to adopt the appropriate statement of consistency pursuant to NCGS 153A-341.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Howerton, seconded by Commissioner Reckow. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the first motion is unanimously approved.
I'll make the second motion to adopt an ordinance amending the Unified Development Ordinance incorporating revisions to amend Article 8, Environmental Protection.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Reckow, seconded by Commissioner Howerton. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the second motion is unanimously approved.
Thank you.
So I would say just in time, because we needed this to be adopted so that everybody could get their flood insurance for Durham County, for that to remain active. So I'm glad we took care of that. We now have board and commission appointments. I'm going to make sure I fill out my ballot correctly. just wanted to make sure everyone saw that Kim had left us some of her cards, which is for us to give to citizens who have questions about anything related to the tax process.
Madam Chair, while we're waiting for the vote tally, I do want to say that our tax administrator is going to make herself very available over the next few months to reach out to neighborhood and civic group and talk to them about the revow process. So if there are groups who want her to come speak, they can contact the office about.
All right, yep, great point. And, or, you know, anyone's welcome to email any of us as well. We'll be happy to connect them with Kim. But yeah, great point, is that they want to do a lot of outreach.
Madam Chair, I have your results. For the Adult Care Home Community Advisory Committee, you could select 2 individuals. You selected Marjorie Frazier and Shelbia Green. For the Audit Oversight Committee, you could select 1 person. You selected Nicole McCoy. For the Dangerous Dog Appeal Board, you could select 1 individual. You selected David Atwater. For the Historic Preservation Commission, you could vote for 3. You've selected Matt Bouchard, Katie Hamilton, and David DeBerry. For the Women's Commission, you can select 1 person. You've selected Sarah Bosch. Those are your results.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by Commissioner Howerton, seconded by Commissioner Carter. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. We are unanimously adjourned.